FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
As I look at it, we have a great economy. I don't mean an economy in great shape, but great in the sense that it is large, it is diverse, it is integrated. It's in danger of being destroyed by governmental gridlock that shows no signs of easing. I love what Robert's doing. I am fundamentally a pessimist about what's happening in Sacramento. And I'm a pessimist because that governmental gridlock we have is exactly what the California public wanted. They spent decades building it. They're very attached to it. They have no intention of changing it. And underlying that public making the decisions they've made is a deep cultural malaise in this state. I think we are actually suffering through a serious cultural crisis in California. And we can and will talk about the mechanics of solving things, but unless we solve that problem, nothing else will be possible. To put it quite simply, we need new myths. You know, California is a place built on myth. The name of this state comes from a cheesy novel published in the early 1500s, the Sergas de Esplandian, that inspired a bunch of explorers who gave this place its name.
Queen.
And it was followed by one wave of myth makers and myth takers after another. After the Spanish period, we had the myth of the gold rush. You know, like Silicon Valley, most people lost their money. A few made it. Then we had the myth, the early 1900s, Hiram Johnson, the progressives, and that myth which carried us through the 20s and 30s. In the 1960s, we had two strangely intertwined myths, Pat Brown's era and building the great infrastructure of California with this vast cultural revolution, the counterculture. And then in the 80s, we had the myth of the technology revolution and the modern phase of innovation. The problem is we need new myths because the old myths we've come to rely on that once united us are now dividing us. And if we don't come up with some new myths, we are sunk.